And live from our CBS Sports Studios here in Midtown Manhattan, time to kick off Week 3 on the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Hi, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to another big doubleheader day on CBS. Joining me, three downright stars. Marino, Shannon, Sharpre, and Esiason.
You make us.
You got to rep the M. Rep the Miami. Rep him. You the M.
Week number three. Yeah. Week number 3. What's impressed you so far?
Well, you know what? A guy that really has been.
Rest of the season. For the Raiders, it's simple. Urgency. 0-3. If that happens, the playoffs are history. And for the Eagles, I think business as usual for the team that a lot of people think is the best team in the National Football League, Greg.
All right, Dan, thank you. Over at the Meadowlands, it'll be a reunion for former Marshall University teammates and close friends, Byron Leftwich of the Jaguars and Chad Pennington of the Jets. Brent Jones is standing by live with the latest on the two starting quarterbacks. Hello, Brent.
Hey, Greg, great to hear from you. We've got a great matchup this week. You mentioned the former Marshall quarterbacks. One thing, though, they're both banged up. Byron Leftwich from the Jags took a brutal health of Chad Pennington's right arm. We had a chance to sit down with Herman Edwards and ask
Who writes his stuff?
50,000 comedians out of work. Out in Indianapolis, the revitalized Browns take on the Colts. Indy's 2-0, but Peyton Manning is yet to enjoy a breakout game this season. Steve Tasker on hand at the RCA Dome with more. Steve.
Thanks, Greg. And despite that slow start, Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison are on the verge of surpassing Steve Young and Jerry Rice for the career.
Pick up these third downs and defensively.
Falcons lost to the Seahawks. Didn't practice until Thursday. He will start today against the Bills. Shannon, how effective can Michael Vick be as you take a look at him trotting out on the field?
Well, if his hamstring is as bad as they say it is, but I guess it can't be for the simple fact he's playing today. He's starting in this ball game because what he does is move around and make plays with his left.
Kyle Ripper, this all feels very familiar to us. The Patriots and the Steelers are bound to meet. And Phil, for Ben Roethlisberger, through the first 2 weeks, he has been the sharpest quarterback. He's rated #1 right now in quarterback ratings.
Jim, he's off to a good start, but here we are 8 months later, and we're still talking about the same thing when we talk about these two teams. Can Ben Roethlisberger go out, make enough good decisions, and not make those big mistakes? In the championship game, twice, he dropped back. He tried to force a throw in between defenders, led to an interception, and gave the Patriots points. Then later in the game, he talked about this play. Instead of throwing to the wide open Hines Ward in the end zone for the touchdown, he throws underneath. There's an interception that goes for a touchdown for the Patriots. He's got to avoid those bad mistakes.
Well, Ben told us things are different now.
I feel a lot more comfortable than
NFL Today is first on the field.
Well, thanks, Greg. We've got the Jets and the Jags here at the Meadowlands, and what a difference a week makes here in New York. He focused on getting his team playing more consistent, and a big part of that is Chad Pennington's throwing ability. Is his arm healthy? That's been the big question here in New York, and he's in the process of rehabbing, and of course, very important for this quarterback to come out and make the throws. Inconsistency's been the story, though. We saw the good toss right there, and then at other times, the ball will flutter into the ground and not land near any receivers.
So for Chad Pennington, he understands that when it comes to this shoulder, infinite patience will produce immediate results.
Every day is a different adventure when you're dealing with a repaired shoulder. And the biggest thing, you just got to remain patient and not get frustrated. And
Offensively for this New York Jets football team, they're awfully solid, and John Abraham, Brent, is their leader.
Well, he's the leader of the defense, Gus, like you said. A guy that can penetrate, a guy that can get in the backfield, takes up blocks. He's a guy we're going to have to keep an eye on today, and you can bet the Jags offensive line will be keeping an eye on Big John Abraham. You can see the destruction he causes, getting to quarterbacks, running down the run, collapsing pockets, taking up double-team blocks. He is all over the field for this Jets defense.
For the Jacksonville Jaguars, they finished 9-7 1 year ago, missed the playoffs by 1 game, lost to Indianapolis last week, and a banged-up Marshall quarterback is also the story for them. Byron Leftwich will have to fight through a tender groin today.
Yeah, and Byron Leftwich is actually lucky that he doesn't even be on the field. Look at this shot he takes last week. We did the game. We thought it could have been a season ender. Just a brutal shot. After all of that, he comes out with a strained groin, so we're just going to have to watch his mobility today.
And the Jacksonville defense will play without one of their most aggressive players this afternoon. Donovan Darius will be lost because of an ACL injury suffered last week against the Colts. But Brent, when you look at this defense, they've been superior in the first 2 weeks.
Well, everybody always talks about the front seven, starting with Big John.
And they'll see a passion.